Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Iqra Book Festival. If you're just joining us, you can tune in live on our broadcast on the RR365 Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Next up, we are going to hear from interviewee Safina Mazhar, who is the author of the series of 4 under the pen name SF Mazhar. I hope you have your cups of tea ready, because after the first interview, I realize you're in for a treat.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So thank you so much for that, Sidra. First, I want to say good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the Iqra Book Festival 2022. I have the honor of being in conversation with Hilal Aysraf. So just a very quick bio about Hilal before we jump into conversation. Hilal Aysraf is a Malaysian writer who is very active in writing works involving elements of Islam. Hilal is also an active and freelance speaker who runs Islamic camps and motivational workshops. So we're going to be speaking to him about all of his kind of writing, but in particular, we're going to speak to him about his work, NIRNAMA. So NIRNAMA's bio, little blurb reads as, an unnamed warrior has earned the renown of many. Tales of his courage and compassion of helping the oppressed in fighting Jagat Sukhi's cruelty has spread across the Malaya Peninsula. Yet his name remains a mystery. Hence they call him NIRNAMA, the nameless one. Follow NIRNAMA in his quest to uphold justice, packed with thrilling action and heart-pounding suspense. So that sounds absolutely amazing. I had the privilege of reading the first few chapters of NIRNAMA. Absolutely astounding work, Hilal. So welcome, Hilal. Tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for inviting me on this program. And first and foremost, I must say sorry, because English is not my first language, and I'm not really fluent speaking English, but I'll try my best for today, inshallah. My name Hilal, Muhammad Hilal Aysraf bin Abdul Razak, because Malay love long name. So I have 3 names, Muhammad Hilal Aysraf, but I put Hilal Aysraf as my name at my books. And I've wrote many books on non-fiction and fiction, actually. Now total around 50 titles, alhamdulillah, from 2009, since 2009 until now. And now I've built my own business, self-publishing house, Hilal Aysraf Resources, on Malaysia. In Malaysia, resources mean enterprise business. So self-publishing house, and focusing on publish my own works only, and focus on fiction only now, inshallah. Now I have self-published around 30 titles, alhamdulillah.
Wow,
since
that's
2016.
amazing. That's amazing, Hilal. Wow. So we'll hopefully, inshallah, go into more conversation about this, but I was hoping that you would be able to share a little bit of your writing with us today.
Can you repeat?
Yeah,
I did
of
not
course.
hear well.
So just 5 minutes of a little bit of a reading from maybe the book NIRNAMA.
Okay. So I will read my novel NIRNAMA. This is my latest novel, NIRNAMA. NIRNAMA actually is a Malay word. First, I thought about it from a Malay perspective, because NIR, N-I-R in Malay means not with, without, mean without. So nama, N-A-M-A in Malay means name. So NIRNAMA means without name, no name or nameless. And but after I published NIRNAMA, Then I write NIRNAMA on Google. I found that NIRNAMA also come from Sanskrit word, Sanskrit language, and it also means nameless.
Wow.
So I'm amazed by it.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's great how it all works out.
And actually, Malay language have influence by Sanskrit language actually. One of it influence lah. Another is Arabic and English and Chinese and also lah. And another. So I will read a bit from my novel NIRNAMA, but in English version for everyone to hear now, inshallah.
That's lovely. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So I take one scene when early scene when a villain come to a village to school and kill this one teenager, and NIRNAMA come to help lah. So sorry for my lah, because in Malay we used to add lah at our end of speech.
That's
so
okay.
I sorry lah. All right. So I start from. Okay, I start from here. Okay. This time it would seem Sang Kancil's craftiness had indeed spelled his doom. Oh, but Sir Bagak, you are the one who wanted to be entertained with magic tricks. So I obliged. The only problem was, you gentlemen weren't entertained at all. Because that wasn't entertainment, you fool. It was humiliation. You dare use name of Jagat Suci to make mockery of us. Well, that's entertainment, and I'm entertained. 1, 2, 3 dance, boys and girls both got banned. Sang Kancil roared into laughter. How on earth did you think I was the great Jagat Suci himself, disguised as a charming boy? You should have seen how you all marched in tune to my every command. Did you all just realize what happened long after I left the palace? To hell with you, foolish whelp. Bagak Durjana lifts the barbed cudgel high above. The people of Medini gasped in terror, shocked that Sang Kancil would meet his end in mere moments. Here's death sentence for you, boy, declared Durjana, with cudgel swung forcefully. Right before cudgel could reach its target, a sudden gust of wind struck, blinding all in the area. Uncertainty on what befell Sang Kancil rose in their minds, swelling as large as the billowing cloud of dust now enveloping the scene. Still, all present compete for the front row, wanting to witness the boy's final moments. Bagak Durjana too sensed something was amiss. The cloud has not settled, but he could feel his weapon not connecting where it should, as if halted mid-swing. He only felt the rush of the swing reaching the earth. NIRNAMA, you are really here. The voice of Sang Kancil rang through the dust. The wind soon receded, revealing a man average in frame, yet beheld a warrior's countenance. One of the man's hands was holding his cudgel in place. A thrust from his unsheathed crest impaled it, preventing the weapon from harming Sang Kancil. So crest is a weapon, a Malay weapon. Okay. It's an asymmetrical dagger with characteristic blade design created by alternating iron and Nicholas iron lamination. Okay. Okay. The wind soon receded, shock crossed both Bagak Durjana and his henchmen's faces. Bagak Durjana was far from what one would deem a weakling, and his strike had been teeming with power. Yet the situation stupefied him nonetheless. It was inconceivable for the warrior in his comparably modest frame to stop the attack, let alone single-handedly. You were true to your word, color me impressed, said the warrior, looking at Sang Kancil, a thin line etched across his lips. The boy chuckled. Told you I could get Bhagat Durjana out of his palace. What is the meaning of this? Bhagat Durjana demanded, his brow furrowing. Insulted, he immediately lifted his cudgel to prepare his next strike. But for his weapon refused to budge. His brow furrowed even more. To him, the man was clearly channeling some sort of energy into his charis that impaled the cudgel. So that the scene when NIRNAMA intervened to help Sang Kancil, a boy that have made a joke about Bhagat Durjana, the villain, on this scene. Okay, so Bhagat Durjana was mad and go out from his palace and try to kill Sang Kancil in his village. But
because
NIRNAMA
he made
NIRNAMA intervened.
All because he made a joke about him? My goodness.
Yes, but actually there is some backstory about it.
Okay.
Actually, NIRNAMA is the one who taunted Sang Kancil to make joke about Bhagat Durjana, so that Bhagat Durjana will leave his palace, and then NIRNAMA friends, he had friends, one of the good guys, another team of good guys called Semuta Putih will come to Bhagat Durjana Palace and invade and conquer the territory.
Right,
yes,
right.
like
A very, very clever and very kind of calculated hero you've written there, Hilal.
Yes. I try to be have some mystery and complete readers must think a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that brings me to my first question then.
Okay.
So obviously looking at what you've kind of explained about the character, and you've said you like to have a little bit of mystery in there, you like to have the readers really having to sort of work along with the story. So can I ask, how did you sort of create the characters to be like that? What was your process of creating characters that are so clever, so calculating, and obviously your story is a fantasy story, so one of the kind of questions that fantasy authors are asked all the time is, how did you come up with the world that your characters kind of live in? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so I'm focusing on NIRNAMA, but as in general, actually my process is the same. For creating my characters, I've always influenced by first I've influenced by Sirah Nabawiyah, our prophet, our Rasulullah SAW, and his great companions all have great characteristic actually, and I love to source my inspiration from them, get my inspiration from them. But at the same time, I love feed myself fiction. I love to watch movies. I love to watch anime, animation. Okay. I love to read manga, and I love to read cartoon, DC comics, Marvel comics. I read all of it.
I see.
And I am influenced with Hong Kong comic. We call it manhwa. Okay. So if Japan comic, manga, Hong Kong comic, we call it manhwa. And focusing on NIRNAMA, actually, I get the idea from one of the comic from Hong Kong called Feng Wan, written by Ma Wingxing. Okay, his name, he is Chinese lah, from Hong Kong. From Hong Kong, okay. Great artist, Ma Wingxing, very legendary. So one of his character in Feng Wan meaning cloud and wind, wind and cloud. So it's about a warrior, okay, a Chinese warrior. So one of the character in the story, in one of a prominent character in the story, is nameless, called nameless. His name is nameless. In Chinese, they call it Wu Ming. Wu Ming means nameless lah. Okay.
Okay.
So I really intrigued by the character, and I said I want to do the same for Malay version. But I do not want to call it nameless because the comic has translated to Malay, and it called tanpa nama, straight translation, nameless, tanpa nama, without name. So I cannot use tanpa nama. So I searched how to spell nameless without using tanpa nama in Malay.
Right.
That's why I found the word nir, meaning without. So I use it because in Malay we have a popular song from our popular artist named Siti Nurhaliza. If you heard about her, very amazing woman, Siti Nurhaliza. So one of her song used one word called nirmala. Nirmala, mala means in Malay, mala means you know, we'll have something bad on your face. So
like
nirmala, without bad, right? Without
so like a flaw, you mean, like a
flaw, yeah.
Right.
Without flaw. Nirmala means without flaw.
Okay.
So I said I can create a new word. I think I thought it's a new word lah at that time. So I said so I named my character NIRNAMA.
NIRNAMA. Very interesting. That's very interesting, Hilal. So I'm going to ask you.
That is an example. That is an example of my process. I like to think like that. I like to search. I like to take actually old idea. I like to innovate upon the idea that already existed. So I like to innovate upon that.
I see.
Like my if people read my story, actually I have many of my story built upon the story of Sahaba, the story of Prophet. Like I have one of my series called Hikayat Satra Sejati, the story, the tale of warriors, the tale of pious warriors in English.
Okay.
So I built upon the story of Musa when he left the Fir'aun palace and then become prophet, right? So my character on that story, he left the palace because his father, the king, is bad, is really evil. And he became a warrior that defend the society lah, the people. So I like to build upon existed idea and try to make it more interesting, more not more interesting, but to try to add something new, something from another perspective and whatnot.
That's very interesting. Very, very interesting, Hilal. Because my next question to you was going to be what inspires you to write, but I think you've already answered that. So I think as well as the religion of Islam, and of course our Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his Sahaba Ikram, as well as that, you've mentioned manga, you've mentioned comic books and everything. So I think you've answered that question really well. So thank you for that.
I always say that only dead people have no inspiration.
Oh, that's
Because
interesting.
as long as we live, as long as we feed ourselves with information, with
Mhm.
knowledge, we will always open to inspire.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's lovely, Hilal. So can I ask, what made you choose the genre of fantasy fiction? So all of your stories you've mentioned, and especially NIRNAMA, is obviously based in a kind of a fantasy universe. So what made you choose fantasy?
Actually, my first attempt on being a published writer in Malaysia at my age of 18, I've wrote a novel first. I wrote fiction first, but at that time, I wrote realistic fiction. I wrote about a team of volleyball player
Mhm.
that want to be first place at
Okay.
their country, at their state. Yeah. That I have been inspired my real life experience because I am volleyball player when
Okay.
I'm at secondary school. So I use my already experience that I've already experienced. I build upon it to make a novel. So that is my first experience to enter the writer's world as a novelist. But at the same time, I am an author of many articles, non-fiction articles, because
Okay.
I am a student of religion.
Mhm.
I come from religious school, Islamic school. So we have read many books of Sirah, Hadith, Al-Quran. So I always reflect myself with Al-Quran, with Hadith, with Sirah Nabawiyah, and then I love to write.
That's
So
beautiful.
at my early journey as a writer, I'm not dedicated to one genre. I write whatever I want to write as long
Ah,
as it feels that I'm doing dakwah, you know.
oh, that's
I'm
brilliant, Hilal.
I'm spreading the message. At that time, I feel like that. I feel like that.
Absolutely.
So until one day, until one day, I realized because as writer in Malaysia, we have Kuala Lumpur International Book Fair every year
Okay.
in KL. So as writer, after I graduate from Jordan, because I start writing before I go to university, and then I go to university in Jordan at Yarmouk
Okay.
University.
Okay.
Then after I graduate, I start participating on Kuala Lumpur International Book Fair. And every year, I've seen youngsters from primary school, from secondary school, from universities, young generation, every year have flocking the fiction booth,
Okay.
fiction book of fiction, like comic, like novel.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that all of that fiction stories, the majority of it, not really representing Islam.
Okay.
Not uphold the message of Islam and whatnot. So I feel that I must do something. I must focus on my journey as writer. That I must bring something because I treat my work as a amal
Mm-hmm.
that I want to present in front of Allah at Yaumul
Absolutely.
Qiyamah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I hope I can do that, inshallah. So
That is beautiful, Hilal.
I feel that I want to focus on fiction
Yeah.
and have youngsters, young generation love to
Mm-hmm.
read my work because then when we as a teenager we love fiction. I once a teenager, right? I love to read comic. I love to watch movies. I love to read about stories. So I
Mhm.
think I want to make great stories that uphold the Islamic message, bring out the Islamic teachings, but
Mhm.
on with great stories that make them not only happy but
Mhm.
get great message of Islam, inshallah.
Inshallah,
So that's
absolutely.
why I choose fiction.
That's why you choose fiction. That is an absolutely brilliant reason to choose fiction, Halal. So thank you so much for that answer.
And
Can I ask, obviously,
okay,
sorry,
can I add something?
of course.
And one thing, when I focusing on fiction, I've seen that with fiction we can expand our territory, not only on novel, but
Mhm.
we can adapt my novel to comics. We can adapt it to a film, to
Mhm.
animation. So I
Absolutely.
think is more potential to it. We can adapt it to build a game.
Uh-huh.
So now we see that those territories not uh, not presenting Islam with
Mhm.
the right representation, right? Now,
Absolutely.
so I want to build a fiction world that
Mhm.
representing Islam the right way, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. That is amazing. And I wish you the best of luck with that as well. And I will definitely be picking up some of your work to read,
Inshallah.
inshallah. So that's lovely. Now, just focusing on NIRNAMA, can you tell us how long
Okay.
did it take you to write that book? So this is from not just the physical writing, but the idea coming to you, the concept, creating the characters, and then having that kind of final product. How long did that take you?
With NIRNAMA, it takes 3 months to write,
Okay.
but to publish it, I take around 8 to 9 months, because with NIRNAMA come with illustration, a lot of illustration,
Oh,
and
I see.
I pay a freelancer. I paid a freelancer to
I
to
see. To
draw the
illustrate,
illustration.
right.
So we have many.
Oh, brilliant. That is gorgeous artwork.
Yes.
Do you always use the same freelancer for graphic
Oh, no,
design
no,
or?
no. Actually, with NIRNAMA is the first time I collaborated with her. Actually, that because I have bigger vision with
Mhm.
fiction. I've just got bigger vision with fiction arena of fiction.
Okay.
Because before that, I just think about it as writing only, books only, novel only. But
Uh-huh.
since I thought about it, it can be expanded to be a film, to be comics. So I've decided to invest and collaborated with artists that
Right.
can deliver my story, that can paint my story and bring
Absolutely.
vision.
Oh, that's one. So you use, is it like a kind of a panel of artists that you use? Or do
No,
you
no,
kind of
it's only one person. Her
one
name
person?
is
Okay.
Hani. We
Honey.
call
Okay.
she call herself Nenek Hani,
Oh, okay.
granny Hani
Oh,
on
bless.
media social. But
Right.
she is
Okay.
young. She is from young generation.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. And just obviously, when you read your kind of story to us as well, it's obviously in the English version. So you wrote the original books in Malaysian, yeah, in Mali.
Yes.
So what was the translation process like for you? So seeing your work translated into English,
Yes.
was there anything that needed to be cut? Did the things have to be kind of reworded? Was there anything that couldn't be directly translated? What was that process like?
We try to not use direct translation.
Okay.
So the one who do the translation is my friend. His name is Mohaimin Misrai. He is the editor at the International Institute of Advanced Islamic Studies, IAIS in Malaysia. So he's better, far better English in English than me.
Okay. Okay.
So he doing the translation, inshallah.
Okay.
And he explained to me that the translation will not be direct translation because we will not want the people to feel like it Google Translate.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
it will be on his creativity to add the flair. But we still want to stick with Malay style of speaking, and many Malay and Arabic words we what we make it stay on the manuscript. Yes,
Right. Okay.
and we give a footnote like Chris.
Ah,
We don't translate Chris. We do not translate it to dagger, but we maintain it as Chris. So we
okay.
give a little bit footnote about what is Chris, like I read
That's brilliant. Yeah, so that means that
while ago.
your readers will then pick up a little bit of that language as well then, because
Yes,
they're reading words
we
in the authentic
we
language.
want. I actually inspired by Disney film Raya the Last Dragon.
Mhm.
Raya the Last Dragon tried to represent element from Nusantara, our archipelago, Malay archipelago, but it feel English.
Ah, okay.
So, so I want to make our reader feel like they are in our culture,
Mhm.
and Malay culture and Islamic religion is actually very close, very
Uh-huh.
intertwined. So we want
Yes,
to bring that also. But we
absolutely.
will see in NIRNAMA also
Mhm.
how the people twist the religion
Mhm.
to their benefit only. Like
Ah, okay.
our rulers
Mhm.
try to claim they are Allah shadow.
Mhm.
They are representing God. So
Hi.
we in NIRNAMA we criticize that. We
Right.
bring it up like that. So when people read, they will feel our culture and our representation, our reality on this land, inshallah.
That is
That's
wonderful.
why in illustration 2, you see the clothes, all of it
Ah, uh-huh.
maintain the our culture representation more true
Through that.
than Raya.
Oh, that's brilliant, because that's as a reader, that's what you want to do. You want to kind of immerse yourself into the author's world and what they've created, and it's so important to
Yeah.
represent your culture and in your writing as well. So that's fantastic, Halal. Can you tell us kind of what advice do you have for aspiring writers? You've been writing since you were 18 years old. You've written a whole broad range of different genres. So what advice do you have to those who are maybe just starting out writing? What would be the one kind of important thing you'd like to say to them?
For me, my actually not advice, because I'm not really the knowledgeable on this field, but my sharing, my experience sharing will
Mhm.
be seek your niche. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid of criticism.
Very important.
Invite it instead, because with criticism, with criticism, you will be improving. You know what you do wrong, what you do right. Actually, come
Yes.
from criticism also. Keep being better, keep improving, keep reading, keep writing. Find a bigger purpose that will drive you far, that will keep you moving forward on this field.
Some
Because
very sound advice.
I've I've seen many people that want to be author, want to be novelist, just because they want to be rich. They want money. But money just get you so far. You
Absolutely.
you must have vision bigger than money. Not that
Mhm.
money not important, but money is the tool to get wealth. money is not wealth itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Some very wise words from you, Hilal. And just before we finish
that
up,
word come from Akala.
oh, does it? Okay. Last kind of question from myself is, what are your future writing plans? So what are do you have anything else that you're planning to release soon? Anything you're working on currently?
For now, I want to expand NIRNAMA's universe to be trilogy. And now we try to translate it, and we see the exception of international community. I hope it successful. But now in Malay version, I try to make it a trilogy and have several spin-off of it, because NIRNAMA is my most successful works, at least now lah. And at the same time, I'm working on new title, a futuristic post-apocalypse story. So I want to go far beyond the future. I want to explore. Now people talk about metaverse, people talk about AI, people talk about Mars. So I want to integrate all of that advancements in my novel, but I want to write post-apocalypse. After all of that achievement, and what happened to humanity?
So how far in the future are you thinking, Hilal?
Maybe after we conquer Mars.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Well,
because NIRNAMA is classical scene. So I want to have my work to take on future after this, inshallah.
After this. No, that sounds really interesting. So we've got another 2 books to follow, NIRNAMA to look forward to, and then a post-apocalyptic world set way in the future. So that's absolutely fantastic. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Hilal. Thank you so much for joining us, especially looking at the kind of time difference in Malaysia as well. So I absolutely appreciate.
Thank you for having me. And I'm very sorry because my English not really
No, please
fluent.
don't be. You've been absolutely fantastic.
But I want to share something.
Please go for it.
Actually, I've fall in love with something from UK, from your place.
Okay.
I heard a lot Loki and Akala, right? If you know about them. So I actually very feel UK is an interesting place, inshallah.
Oh, it is. And I hope that you will visit very soon as well.
Inshallah.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Hilal. Thank you so much. I'm just going to pass it back to Sidra, and thank you for everyone who's been listening in. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the Iqra Book Festival 2022. Thank you.